It's time for conditionals. Very exciting. So let's start with Booleans. Maybe wondering what the heck is a Boolean? You guys ever heard of George Boole? It's a famous logician. Opened up a lot. So Booleans are a Python type that may be true or false. Logic, by the way, is a subset of pure mathematics that is very integral with computer science on account of largely the work of George Boole. So 3 is less than 4. Statements like that should work in Python. Well, what should the output be? That is true, so it gives an output of true. That's an example of a Boolean. 3 is greater than 4. That's another statement in Python that clearly is not true. So the output sensibly is false. Now, if you want to know what's the type of 3 greater than 4, you could put anything in parentheses and it's going to be a certain type, provided that the syntax is correct. Well, it's bool, which is short for Boolean. So let's take a look at Boolean variables. So variables may be defined as Booleans. So for instance, coding fun is a variable, and we are assigning it the value of true. That is a type of Boolean. Homework fun is false, which is, again, another variable that is assigned to Boolean. Okay, let's take a look at Boolean equality. So Booleans are commonly used to check equality in programming. What does that mean? Let's say there's a number, define num equal to 3. But then the answer is actually equal to 4. So you can use the double equal sign, okay? Num, I read that as num equivalent to answer. The double sign checks for equality, okay? One equal sign above it assigns a value to a variable. Two equal signs, I like to use the word equivalent, okay? Is num equivalent to answer? Well, no. So you get a false. Is 3 equivalent to 3.0? Ooh, I like it. Why? Because they're different types in Python. They have the same value, but they are different types. So it's not obvious whether that should be true or false. What do you guys think? It's true. Python gives the answer of true because they have the same value, even though the types are different. So that example shows us that different types can, in fact, have the same value. Okay, now let's look at conditionals. So conditionals result in different actions depending on whether the given expression is true or false. So there's a variable score. We can say if score is greater than 100. Okay, and note too the colon after the if. So if you start a line with if, then there should be something that can go to a Boolean after it, and then followed by a colon. So if that is true, then the computer will print out you win. Great. And then with else, you can have, with if, you can have an else. So else meaning in all other cases. So if the score is not greater than 100, then in this case, print keep trying. Okay, so this is an if-else clause. And if we consider that the score is 179, let's look at what the code will do. Okay, score is equal to 179. Go down one line. If score is greater than 100, well, 79 is greater than 100, so it evaluates to true. So if true, print you win. So it's going to print out you win. The next line of code says else. It skips it because the if has been satisfied. And you can see the result, the output is you win. Now consider if the score is 27. Well, if 27 is greater than 100, well, it's not, so that evaluates to false. So what Python does is it ignores what's after the colon and goes straight to the next block, which is the else. And else is the other case, so it sensibly prints out keep trying. Okay? So that's how conditionals often work in practice. Really opens up what you can do with programming, because typically, your programs are going to be a lot more interesting if different scenarios result in different outputs to the user. Now, for one final topic on conditionals, consider nested conditionals. Interesting. What is that? Well, here you have one. So it's the same as before with something in the middle added in. It says elif score greater than 50. Welcome to level 2. Okay, so basically it's simply another clause, and you can have as many elifs as you want. They stand for if else. Sorry, else if. So if score is greater than 100, print out you win. If that is not the case, go to the next block. So else if score is greater than 50, print welcome to level 2. If that's not the case, you could have another elif block. You could have as many elif blocks as you want. So this is how you can say you could print something out for every 10 numbers, every 20. In this case, it's every 50. If neither of those is the case, then you simply will get the last result. You always need an else at the end of the elif. So if can stand by itself. If else stands alone. But elif is designed specifically to go in the middle of else if. So imagine we have a score of 77. Well, it's not greater than 100. Go to the next block. It is greater than 50. So that's the block that we want. Welcome to level 2. That's conditionals. Happy coding.